Hello everyone, welcome back to Luke's Anime Talk. I'm going to go over some of the most recent anime I've been watching. And for this episode I'll be looking at the second Code Geass movie, Code Geass Lelouch of the Rebellion, Transgression. And just before I get into that, I did a review for the first movie, Initiation, so if you're interested, go give that a watch. And make sure to like and subscribe to keep up to date with all future uploads. Okay, so let's go over some of the plot of Code Geass Transgression. Okay, so we get a quick recap of what happened in the first movie, and some cool original art to go with that. With Lelouch and the Knights in a much more secure position, he sets up new squads and groups. So they've got a lot more support and money now, so they can actually set time aside to set up squads and have a proper strategy to what they're doing. Suzaku is honoured by Euphemia, so he's knighted by her and is her protector now, so he's got an official higher position, so he's more secure. Zero and the Knights continue their attacks, with the next one focusing on convincing Suzaku to join them. So they end up trapping him and trying to convince him, but he's obviously not going to. He's obviously there for Euphemia, and they're just kind of trying at this point, but then Zero kind of knows he's not going to be able to do it. With Suzaku trapped, he talks with Zero, but his higher-ups tell him to capture Zero, and they will bomb them. So basically the people that are controlling the island tell Suzaku to hold Zero hostage, and they're just going to bomb him and just kill everyone there. And Suzaku kind of yeah, I'll sacrifice myself for that. And I was just like, okay then, because he wanted to change things from the inside. No, he's just going to let himself die, which I was very weirded out by. To escape, Lelouch tells Suzaku to live with the Geass, and they end up escaping. So Suzaku forgets about this and is like, why did I let him go? And obviously he's never going to know because his memory gets wiped. The Emperor has been doing research on an island, but no one knows why. And during the last fight, the Black Knights acquire a Brittanian prototype suit. The school is having an event, but Lelouch is juggling that and the Knights. So obviously he's trying to deal with school stuff still, the Knights, his persona of Zero, and he's trying to keep everything from getting entangled. Euphemia ends up meeting with Lelouch and Nunnally, to Lelouch's surprise. So obviously he was not expecting Euphemia to appear, and she's just a wrench in the works of muddling things up. After being spotted, Euphemia announces a new Japan area for people to live as Japanese citizens. Thousands go to the event to live in the new area, so Euphemia and Zero meet up. So basically Euphemia wanted to meet Zero and kind of come to a compromise to stop all the fighting and let everyone live in peace. Lelouch reveals himself to Euphemia, who kind of knew it was Lelouch, and they discuss the future and compromise how to come to a peaceful ending. Suddenly, Lelouch unknowingly uses his Geass on her to kill all the Japanese, which he then tells all soldiers to do. It's an absolute massacre. So, for some reason, Lelouch's Geass goes out of control, and he's not controlling it. He doesn't willingly tell her. He just kind of offhandedly says it as a joke, but it actually made her do it, and he was as much of a surprise as Euphemia was, and basically all the people in the stadium just die, and Euphemia is basically this massacring princess now that everyone just sees as a killer. To put it to an end, Lelouch ends up killing Euphemia, so Lelouch knew he had to stop her, and the best way to do it was make it look like it gained him something, so at the end of the day he had to do something, and that was basically the best thing he could do. Zero takes all Japanese resistance under his wing, and announces the United States of Japan. So basically he's at a high now. Everyone hates the Brittanian Empire, and Euphemia is the face of that evil now. VV reveals himself to Suzaku and explains Geass powers to him. Riots all over Japan, and Zero gains tons of momentum, so everyone is starting to believe in Zero and hate the Brittanian Empire even more for what happened. The Knights fight Cornelia, and Lelouch confronts Suzaku. The Knights take the school for a base, so they're starting to push into areas now, and the Knights take the school as a base because obviously Lelouch knows that area, so he can use that to his advantage. Lelouch fights Cornelia and wins, but finds no info, so fights her, gets her injured, and uses his Geass powers, and finds out that she had nothing to do with his mother's death, and actually his mother told her to get rid of all security, so he's got more questions than he's got answers now. Vivi ends up kidnapping Nunnally. Lelouch and CC go to the mysterious island, but Lelouch is confronted by Suzaku. His helmet breaks, revealing he is Lelouch to Suzaku and Callan. So basically, Suzaku knows about Geass now, and he also knows that Lelouch was behind it the whole time, and Callan is just as surprised as everyone, and they're just all in awe of how Lelouch could do this. Suzaku captures Lelouch, taking him to the Emperor, who, using his own Geass, changes Lelouch's memories. The Black Knights retreat into hiding. So with Zero basically gone now, they can't do anything with their main commander missing, so they have to go into hiding and wait to appear again in the future. Lelouch is put under surveillance and watched by Suzaku to make sure he doesn't get his memories back. So basically he's put back in school and basically a normal student now, and they're just watching him to make sure he doesn't revert back to his old self. To everyone's surprise, Zero returns, but no one knows if it's Lelouch. So basically Lelouch is acting like normal, he's at school, but Zero's here as well, so everyone's kind of like confused, like, is it him? Is it not him? Cornelia is searching for Geass's origins to avenge Yuffie. Suzaku confronts Lelouch, who then goes on the run, so he throws a smoke bomb down and basically tries to lose him, and he ends up losing him. So Suzaku pretty much knows now that Lelouch has gained at least his memories back. Lelouch has the Knights kill all the Geass researchers, and they face VV. VV is defeated by a mix of Lelouch and Cornelia, and sacrificed by the Emperor to gain immortality. Lelouch confronts the Emperor, and after a close encounter escapes from his thought realm. He tries to use all the glass to use his Geass to bounce it off, and he shoots him, but no, he's immortal now, so he is basically unstoppable at this point. Lelouch promises to help Cece die, but when she returns, loses her memories. So she's basically a blank slate now, she's acting nothing like normal, and she doesn't know Lelouch either. The Chinese Federation and multiple other nations, the Black Knights are made a third-party protection group that surveys to defend the world. They're basically a worldwide defense force now, and they've been put to task to defend Japan. The Emperor challenges Lelouch, so basically he's like, oh Lelouch, you think you're all good now and cool? Alright, then bring it on, I'm the Emperor, you can't defeat me, so it's a full-on battle between them now. Lelouch calls Suzaku to ask him to protect Nunnally. Lelouch is the lowest he's been at this point, and he's like Suzaku, who's basically his enemy at this point. He wants him to help him save Nunnally, but he's got no chance to save her without him. And that's where the film ends. So we've basically got into season 2 of the anime, and we're getting into the culmination of their fighting. So Lelouch is smart as ever, he's evil and calculating. So he is just the best of everything you want in a villain and also a hero. So you don't know whether to root for him, or you don't know whether to go, oh boo, you're evil. But he's such a great character because he's so complex, because sometimes you want to support him, but sometimes he does awful things that you can't support him for. I've no idea why Suzaku still wants to work within Brittania, so he's trying to do it from the inside, but it's clearly not going to work. And they treat him like rubbish, they try to kill him and use him for whatever means, but he still tries to work within. I don't understand why he keeps doing it. I feel so sorry for Lelouch and Euphemia. So Lelouch he was trying to be nice and come to a compromise, but then his Geass went out of control and ended up backfiring for both Lelouch and Euphemia. So it was just a horrible situation for both, and Lelouch just tried to make the best of it. The Geass mystery deepening with VV and the Emperor, so we get the Emperor sacrificing VV to gain immortality, so who knows what other Geass powers can do to people, you don't know yet. I love the new and additional scenes to connect the story, so they added in a lot of additional scenes for when it was the midpoint between season 1 and 2 when Lelouch got his memory wiped, so they added new scenes of him being watched, and I thought it connected the story a lot better. And then the Emperor, still evil as ever, he just does what he wants, he's doing it all for himself, and he doesn't care who he has to sacrifice. The only thing that was a negative is what I also said about the first film. The second half is just so compact with information, and sometimes it's hard to follow because they back so many episodes into such a little amount of time. You kind of skip over and miss tons of information, which is a bummer because it's such a good story. And I think it's the kind of thing with these compilation films that they have to, otherwise they'll just go on for hours and hours. But I think in the 2-hour slot they try and get all the main information. I think they did a good job of that. But yeah, if you love Code Geass, if you love the series, you'll definitely at least enjoy this. And yeah, it's such a good like mystery and power and battling and politics. It's also good. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to keep up to date with all future uploads. And until next time, I will see you all later.